and welcome to another episode of the Farr Show, where I'm Damien Farr, and tonight we're talking about my dream Marvel castings. And I know what you're thinking, Damien, didn't you do a video like this? Well, I need to fill a slot here, and with Deadpool and Wolverine, I felt like this is a perfect one to fill. It looks like I'm honestly just using the same thing from the week before. Well, a couple weeks ago. Wearing the same shirt. This is like my favorite shirt, ironically enough, even though we're not talking DC. But let's talk about this here, where there's some dirt on the desk. What in the world? So we're talking my dream Marvel castings. We're going to start with Spider-Man, and then we're going to go to X-Men, because I feel like the idea has been changed a little bit of what my dream Marvel castings are. And there's going to be a lot that I forget, too. There's a lot of actors and actresses that I'm just not going to remember, that I wrote down somewhere and just have saved, because, you know, who cares? They didn't make the cut. I mean, probably should have. Let's start talking about them here. So, Spider-Man, we're going to start with Black Cat, which I put Sydney Sweeney down. I feel like she's a pretty good choice for her. I didn't really put anybody else down, so who do you think should be Black Cat? I want you to tell me in the comments, who do you think could play these characters as well? So, for Gwen Stacy, aka Spider-Gwen, we're going to have a few here. I put Emma Stone. I want her to return and interact with Andrew Garfield, but not his Gwen, just look like her. I feel like that'd be a cool situation for maybe Amazing Spider-Man 3. I hope they do an Amazing Spider-Man 3, but I don't think they will. Or we could get Haley Steinfeld. I think she'd be great as well. She already plays Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen in Into the Spider-Verse. I just think it'd be a cool natural transition for her to be the, you know, the main one, I guess you could say. I don't really know what else to say other than that. I have a personal bias towards her. That or Sabrina Carpenter was one that I heard and think, you know, that could actually work pretty well. Then we got Harry Osborn. The only two that I have here, I only have Joe Curry written down, but Timothée Chalamet could be an amazing one as well, I feel. I feel like he'd actually be perfect. Better than Joe Curry now that I'm thinking about it. You know what? We'll go with Timothée Chalamet. Kraven the Hunter, I have Aaron Taylor Johnson here returning, but that movie just keeps getting pushed back, and it concerns me to the point where I don't know if it's worth, you know, I'm still going to see it, but I don't know if it's going to be good. So I put in an alternate option here, which is Carl Urban. A little bit older, but, you know, still could do it. Then we got Miles Morales, who I put down Caleb McLaughlin. He played Simba just like Donald Glover. And Donald Glover, you know, was the inspiration for Miles Morales, so I feel like it'd just be a perfect situation there. Personally, that's what I think. Spider-Gwen, Sydney Sweeney. I think she'd be great to return. That's if she's not doing Black Cat. Isabella Marcerdo? I think that's how you pronounce it. She was in Transformers. She's an alien Romulus. She's gonna be in The Last of Us Season 2. She was in something else that I just watched recently, and it's gonna bug me, so we're gonna look it up here. What was she just in? She was in some relatively big movie, too. I think it was a movie. She was in Madam Web, that's right. That was the movie that I was thinking of. Why is Madam Web? She's also going to be in the new Superman movie as Hawkgirl. Going from Transformers to, you know, Madam Web, Alien Romulus, Spider-Man, and then The Last of Us is pretty big change in pace. I think she's a pretty good actress. I put down Daisy Edgar-Jones just because I've been on a Twisters craving lately, and I feel like she'd be great. Also put down a fan favorite one that's been going around, which is Daisy Ridley. Or I got an out of left field one, which is Lily Reinhardt. All of them I think could be a great Spider-Woman, but we'll see what happens. So we got Spider-Man characters out of the way, and I know there's a lot of Spider-Man characters I'm missing, but these are just the ones that I thought of that I'm like, feel like these should be cast in movies. Now let's get to X-Men. Where we got a few. We're gonna start with Beast. Beast, Kelsey Grammer's amazing, but I want somebody that's big. Big. Alan Richardson. Seeing him in Reacher, I think this man could be beast. I don't know what it is, just something about him. I get that he's older, but the idea is also he's a teacher of some of these other mutants, so I feel like it'd be good that he's a bit older. For Cyclops, I have Glenn Powell, who's my man crush, so that's fine by me. Dazzler, I have Dua Lipa or Taylor Swift. Either one would work in my mind pretty well. Dua Lipa, though not being in much, I think is a better actress than Taylor Swift. So I could just see it more. What has Dua Lipa been in? She was in that movie with Henry Cavill recently. And she was in Barbie. She didn't really do much in Barbie, if we're being honest. Argyle. That was the movie's name. I think she'd just be a better fit. Then we got Gambit, where I got 3 options here. Channing Tatum could return. The likelihood of him returning is low, though. Let's be real. I got Anthony Ramos. Once again, twisters on the brain. Or Austin Butler's been one that's going around. I'd say Austin Butler then Anthony Ramos personally, but who knows. Then we got Jean Grey, where I got Shailene Woodley. She was MJ, technically speaking, in a movie, but I feel like she has some good acting chops that she could be really good. Not saying anything bad about, who's the last one that played Jean Grey now? In Dark Phoenix. I can see her face, but I can't remember her name. Sophie Turner. That's who I was thinking of. She's technically a bit younger than Shailene Woodley, but I feel like Shailene Woodley would be a better... I feel bad just saying, a better actress, but I feel like, she'd be a much better actress. I mean, what is she... So, Sophie Turner's only been nominated for, Game of Thrones and stuff like that. Well, I feel like Shailene Woodley is a lot more nominations. Not saying nomination mean you're great, but I mean, just looking here, she's got a few movies that she's been nominated for. Nothing about TV, but I don't think she's really done any TV, so it makes sense. So I think Shailene Woodley would be a good choice for Jean Grey. Then we got Lady Deadpool, which just kind of an out of left field. I'd like Blake Lively to return, honestly. That or Taylor Swift would be great too. Then we got Mystique. This was one I didn't think of until recently. And I got 2 options here. From Reacher, I got Serendina Swan, I think it's pronounced. Serinda Swan. And then I got Ana de Armas. I think Ana de Armas would kill this role. I think she would be the best choice, but there's some other options there. Psylocke. I didn't know much about Psylocke. Olivia Munn, though, I love the video of her training with the sword, and when she was dating Aaron Rodgers at the time, him just in the background trying to do it too, and it was kind of funny. Gave him more personality than I think he's ever had, but not important. Then I also have, if she doesn't return, I have Karen Fukuhara. I think that's how it's pronounced. She was in Suicide Squad, and she's been in The Boys for a while, so I think she'd be pretty good at superhero roles. Then we got Rogue. I got a few options here. I got, first and foremost, I put down Alexander Daddario. I think she's a bit old, if I'm being real, for this. Then I got Catherine Lanford or Willa Fitzgerald, another Reacher alumni. Then for Storm, we got Halle Berry, not that Halle Berry, the Little Mermaid Halle Berry. I feel like I gotta preface that now for some reason. So I think that'd be a great one. Wolverine. This one's the one where I have the most options here. So we're gonna skip Wolverine and go to X-23, which is Daphne Keane. I mean, she was perfect. I think she just needs to return, and they kind of set it up where she could return. I feel like she should be the one that stays the character. Wolverine. Other than myself, we're going to preface that right away. And the reason this started was actually I thought Glenn Powell could be great as Wolverine for some reason. Henry Cavill, I'd love to see him in at least one movie as Wolverine. We talked about this. I don't think it's going to happen. So, Glenn Powell, I think, should stay Cyclops. So, we're going Daniel Radcliffe Taron Egerton or Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy, I think we're just going to eliminate by age. Taron Egerton could be great, but I think he's a bit too tall. And we're going more comic accurate height-wise in my eyes. So Taron Egerton is 5'9". I mean, he's a little taller than me. Well, Daniel Radcliffe, I think, is like 5'4". 5'5". So, you know, personally, I don't know which one I'd want more. I mean, we're not going personal bias, so Glenn Powell is out, Henry Cavill's out, and then myself is out in this theory. I think, personally, I'd go Daniel Radcliffe just because I feel like his acting diversity is a bit more. Not saying anything against Taron Egerton, just from what I've seen him in. I've only seen him really in action movies and, what's it called? And the Elton John movie, Rocket Man. Once again, not saying he's a bad actor. I just feel like Daniel Radcliffe could give a lot more. I also think Daniel Radcliffe's a bit younger. 34 for Taron Egerton. Well, Daniel Radcliffe is 35. Okay, Daniel Radcliffe is older, but I think Daniel Radcliffe would just be a better fit, honestly. I think he's willing to commit to the role more, if that makes sense. I think he could diversify Wolverine a bit and take a different, you know, way than Hugh Jackman did, or Hugh Jackman, sorry. So, what are some of your dream Marvel castings? Throw in some DC ones in there, too. Out of left field, The Rock should return as Black Adam, because his movie was garbage. But I love his merch. I love this, Anti-Hero. I really wear it because it's a Taylor Swift reference, honestly. Though nobody thinks it's a Taylor Swift reference, that's why I bought it. I can have Taylor Swift merch without being called out. So, tell me in the comments below, what are your dream castings for Marvel, DC, any property actually? Just tell me in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon, and have a far off night.